29.986. New fastest.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this will be second lap, hot lap. Don't take your first lap too hard, or else you're gonna lose some of your stuff. There's just not enough grip to make 1 and 2 work on the first lap. So just run an easy 1 and 2 on your first lap, and then 3 and 4, go ahead and do this run up here. So we're gonna be running towards the top of 3 and 4. Really ripping by the wall is pretty good in 3 and 4. So I do like to get right by the wall here. If you're not comfortable with that, it is almost as good to be 1 lane down. So feel free to do that. It's gonna be worth a few hundredths, but it's not gonna make or break anything. So right by the wall here, and then I turn down a little bit early to straighten out my exit so that I'm able to get the wheel straight as early as possible and carry that momentum. Car's gonna be extremely loose in this setup, so, and low grip and just in general, so everything's gonna need to be a little bit conservative, then you work your way up there. All right, so turn 1 here, very important is getting this turn down early, but not too early, okay? So if you get down and kind of hit the white here and then go straight up, you lose a lot of time over somebody who's able to make a later turn down but still get to the bottom. So you really want to get to the bottom of the diamond as late as possible without hitting the wall or without losing your grip or whatever. So you can see here I got up to the wall pretty late. Now you can be a little bit closer to the wall than this, but it's pretty darn uncomfortable. So one big thing that people miss at Darlington is they'll get up to the wall and then they'll just immediately turn back down. We don't want that. We want to get to the bottom a little bit late, and then we come back up the hill with our mostly full throttle, and then we hold it by the wall for like 2 full seconds, it feels like sometimes. Then you turn back down the hill so that you can straighten out your exit. You don't get this straight exit out of 2 unless you hold it by the wall for multiple seconds, it feels like. So we'll see how we're just staying up there. Don't turn down yet, don't turn down yet. We turn down now. So I guess a good place to go for the turn down is like this lift kits for less sign right here. Maybe even a little later if you're a little braver than me, but the Xfinity car has a little less grip than the truck, so you need to start the turn down a little bit earlier because it'll take a little longer to get down there. But you see, what you want is this apex right here to be as late as possible. The later you can make this apex, the better your exit's gonna be. So that's the goal. If you never make the apex, then it's a miss. If you get to the apex and have to wait there, or else you're gonna hit the wall, then it's a miss. But when you can make a late apex like that and just full throttle it off the corner anyways, that is a hit, that's a win. Okay, so we carry good speed because we hit that apex. Time for 3 and 4. And so what I'm going to do here, my favorite line, there's a couple ways to go about this. You can really run the top with a very early entry. I think that's a little slow for qual lap. You can really dive bomb the bottom and let the car slide up. I think that doesn't work at this low grip of a track state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter kind of in the Goldilocks zone right in the middle, left sides on this seam, and just let the car do what it needs to do. So I drag the brake, helping it rotate. Car will go up to the wall, slide up all the way. A little bit of a, not the prettiest line there, but I was able to get it rotated at the last second, which actually helped make me get a good exit. So if this is kind of one of those turns where your entry dictates how the rest of the corner goes. If you're able to get the car to stick down here without losing too much speed, then you might be in an advantage because you can shortcut the rest of the corner. If you go a little bit lower than this and still slide up, you might have to extra slow down the car to get the car to pivot. I seem to get just low enough to where my car naturally just barely missed hitting the outside wall. You can see that I actually had the trust in it to transition to the throttle before my car actually made the weight shift. And that's how you kind of have to do it. Just know that just time your braking so that the car won't hit the wall, and then hit the throttle so that you get the weight shift onto the right rear, and then the rest of the corner kind of drives itself. You see, it was kind of just loose the rest of the corner, getting the rotation. So that's good. Take a look at that one more time, no pausing. So early braking, back it down to a drag it until the car weight shifts, transition to the partial throttle, and then start raising your throttle as the car starts turning down the hill. opening up your steering wheel on exit and getting decent momentum off the corner. All right, so that's a decent hot lap, and now let's go take a look at the long run. All right, now let's talk about long run. So this is going to be a little bit similar to the truck video that we talked about, if you saw that, but also some of this is going to be a lot different because of how hot this track is in comparison to the truck. So same idea with 1 and 2, it's just going to be a little harder to execute. We want to get all the way to the bottom, and then we want to get all the way to the top, so like right by the wall, and we want to turn down at the last second so that we have no chance of hitting the wall off the corner. It's going to be a lot easier to hit the wall off of 1 and 2 at this track temperature compared to the truck. Then 3 and 4, a lot earlier braking. I think that I said to run the bottom in truck. Here in Xfinity, I think that this top line is just going to be where it's at. I think that you have to slow down way too much for the bottom. So let's see what we can do here. So again, full off the throttle and get back on. We want to be right by the wall and then turn down as late as possible to make our exit as easy as possible. And there we go. If you get stuck turning down early, or you can't really do that aggressive exit that we've seen qualifying and we see in these laps, because you'll just hit the wall. That's how people hit the wall, is they get greedy and they try to throttle up early even though they're turning down the hill too early.
30.1.
So for instance, I'll just turn down here, maybe start dragging a little bit of brake as the run goes on. Bring it up all the way right by the wall, just hold it there and turn it down at the last second with your throttle and a little bit of wheel. So the best way to turn your car back down the hill is to blip out of the throttle slightly and use just a tiny bit of steering wheel. And then again, overdriving 3 and 4 here is going to be death. So just make sure, be conservative on your braking point into 3. It's going to help out so much because this is a very momentum-based corner.
30.2.
So we don't want to miss the bottom here. Little brake if we need to on the way up. Then we just park it right by the wall. Then we turn it down with the throttle on the wheel so that we get down there on exit. I actually got a little bit early there, so I couldn't go full throttle as early as I wanted to, but I recognized that, and I didn't hit the wall because of it. So just recognize how early you're turning down, and if it's even a little bit early, you can't be quite as aggressive as you're used to being. Alright, we'll do a couple more laps here.
30.377.
To bring it all the way up to the wall. So being right by the wall is going to be, well, you see here, that was a big mistake because I started bringing it down too early. I needed to keep it by the wall longer. Once you get right next to the wall, it's a very big habit to just turn down immediately, but you gotta delay it. You gotta fight your instinct and just stay by that wall for a little bit.
30.57.
What separates the good people from the great people is their ability to get right by this wall every single lap and set up their exit. Look how green my exit is because I made that turn in later. Not even close. Oh, and that's what happens when you overcook turn 3. You see, this is a very tough track in these hot conditions. So that's something to just keep an eye on.
30.87.
You just don't want to be overdriving anything, but what you do want to be pushing the boundaries of is how much room you're giving yourself up top. When you turn down late, oh, that was a little too late, so I had to wait on it because it was too late. It's all about finding that timing, and honestly, one of the more difficult things to do in all of NASCAR is get that timing on the turn down of 1 and 2. Because it just feels a little arbitrary sometimes, and it is. But once you get in a rhythm for it, you'll be able to find it. Alright, let's do one more good lap here. Been a little sloppy there.
929.
Take that down, get all the way up to the wall, park it right next to the wall, barely any room, wait for the perfect time, and then turn down and give yourself a good launch off of exit. Perfect. Okay, 3 and 4, we don't want to brake too late, so we'll brake early here. Drag the brake until the car turns off the wall, then we pick up the throttle partial. We just hold that, turn it down a little bit, let the car go wherever it wants. And that's a good lap to end on. And that should be pretty even tire wear, those lines. I think the 3 and 4 line, the more you push it, the more it's going to push the right front. 1 and 2, it should be pretty darn even just because of how loose it is. You might have even worn a little bit more rear. 94, 94, completely even tire wear. That line is going to be it for the whole race, and you just use different lines, different braking points as the tires wear, back everything up. Wait longer on the throttle, all that good stuff. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.